Guys, we are back on that slash Balenciaga Reddit page, guys. We're back here. So I was on our Balenciaga, as you do, because I'm on Reddit quite a lot, to be fair. And I'm in so many different Reddit groups. And in this slash Balenciaga Reddit, I saw this bingo thing. It's called the Demna hater bingo. To be fair, shout out to the person that made this because it's quite funny, to be fair. Rude underscore research 2248. This is a very interesting thing. Let's see how many of these things I've said before. Let's see how many of these takes I've had myself. Let me move myself to the side so you can see it fully. So, Demna hater bingo 101. He's going to ruin Gucci right now. And then they showed a picture of, ghastly Gucci monograms. Now, obviously, that is very nitpicky because to say that all of Gucci is just print, especially in an era where the most recent era of Gucci is Sabato De Sarno's era of Gucci, which is literally quiet luxury, kind of like luxe, minimal, less logos. So that kind of defeats the point because that isn't actually what Gucci looks like right now, to be very honest. But yeah, I do understand kind of the mentality of, he's going to ruin Gucci. It's funny because I do agree in a sense that some people just like to have hot takes on, which I think this is what this is alluding to. A lot of people like to have takes online, but they're not really that well educated on what their hot take is. So they'll be like, oh, he's going to ruin Gucci, but they don't even know anything really about Gucci's history, all the way from Tom Ford to Sabato De Sarno. They couldn't tell you really different designers and what their eras characterized and kind of what the aesthetic looked like and what the marketing was like and what the branding was like and what are the famous campaigns that they did, what are their most famous runway shows, what are the products that they did that were hits. They just say stuff. They're like, oh, he's going to ruin Gucci. He's going to ruin this. Or like people say, which I think was in this bingo too, people are like, oh my God, he's like destroyed Balenciaga. But it's like, they don't even know what silhouettes. They don't know what Balenciaga is famous for. So that is definitely true, to be fair. That is quite accurate. To be fair. But I also agree with this as if most of our slash Balenciaga knows. True. So let's go to the next one. Cristobal is rolling in his grave but can't name 5 characteristics of Cristobal's designs. That's fair enough, to be fair. So I don't think I've ever said this before. So these two things I've never said. I don't necessarily think he's going to ruin Gucci. My mentality is that we just have to wait and see what he does. So that's to be seen. The whole Cristobal is rolling in his grave. I've never really said that. That's a mentality I see a lot online, to be fair. Like, Cristobal's rolling in his grave but can't name 5 characteristics of Cristobal's designs. Fair enough, touche, because that's definitely true of most people that, say that. So yeah, that's definitely true. Let's see the next one. I thought we cancelled him. Was never, has never, and will never buy Balenciaga to begin with. So this take is quite interesting, right? Because I made a video that was titled, and this goes back to when I was joking in a past stream where I said comprehension is at an all-time low. The video was titled something around why Balenciaga can't be cancelled. And a lot of people, without even, watching the video or seeing what my actual take was, they jumped on, Ferraris and speed ran into the comments. They jumped into, military jets and absolutely speed ran into the comments to say, I don't respect you anymore. I don't like your channel. You're always defending Balenciaga. You think what Balenciaga is doing is okay. I don't respect you anymore. All you do is defend these brands. They probably pay you, blah, 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 blah. And it's like the point I was making in the video is that the reason why it seems like Balenciaga will never be cancelled, and they probably won't, is because the only way you can cancel a brand, especially a company, is by affecting it where it hurts, which is money. So for a brand to be cancelled, the people that spend their money buying the brand have to boycott the brand. And that did not happen. When you look at the financial reports, it's literally clearly there. Read the financial reports that despite the scandal, in Asia, there wasn't too much of an effect on sales. Therefore, they weren't cancelled because the customer base didn't stop buying it. If you never bought Balenciaga and you're outraged online, fair enough, but it's not changing the reality of or the bottom line of Balenciaga. So what you're doing is not actually per se effective in canceling Balenciaga or stopping it running as a brand, or all those kind of things. So that was the point I was making. But people not even, it's what people do these days, the TikTok era. They read a headline, they don't read the article, they look at the title of a video, they don't watch the video. That was the point I was making. So it's kind of interesting because the point I was making in that video is very aligned with that take where they said that I thought we cancelled him, was never, has never, and will never buy Balenciaga to begin with. So it's like, yeah, how can you cancel a brand when you never bought the brand before? So you canceling them actually doesn't change their day-to-day at all, literally at all. So that was the point I was making. Do I agree morally with certain things? Probably not. Do I think some things are overblown? Also, yes. But either way, I was never a Balenciaga customer. So my opinion isn't changing the bottom line of Balenciaga. Like, I could say that Balenciaga did this and it was wrong, or Balenciaga did that and it was wrong. But at the end of the day, I was never a customer. So nothing really changes whether I, like or don't like it, because I was never buying it in the first place. And I don't know why that's so hard to for people to comprehend, that if you're not, buying something, you boycotting something doesn't move the needle. I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. But anyway, weird. Let's see the next hot take. Give me 2K, I'll sell you my work shoes. I've definitely seen that before. People saying that, Demna's just selling all these. I've actually had that opinion too. Not give me 2K and I'll sell you my work shoes, but I definitely said that, Demna is making shoes that are just literally working class culture coded. This is a pure example, right? There's a time when Demna made these Balenciaga sneakers. I've forgotten what the Zen sneakers. And I had a video that was basically roasting these sneakers, right? Because I was like, these remind me of, Lonsdale's that I used to buy when I was in primary school because I couldn't afford Air Force Ones and all those super expensive shoes that people used to wear when I was young, like Air Max 95s or Air Max 90s. So I used to wear, I'll show you the shoes I used to wear. These are what I used to wear, these Lonsdales from Sports Direct. So it just, all I saw when I see those shoes is just pure working class reappropriation for Balenciaga. The whole, haha, ironic. This is something that's associated with working class culture, but we're going to put it in the context of a luxury brand, which is a lot of Demna's stick at Balenciaga. So I definitely would have said something that alluded to the fact that that's kind of what he's doing. And it was £425. So I just thought it was ridiculous. So yeah, that's what I thought it was. So I guess I said something along those lines. Give me 2K and I'll sell you my work shoes type of thing. Let's see what the bonus is. Bonus. If they dress in a way that makes you wonder if they're even into fashion. That is so funny. If they dress in a way that makes you wonder if you're even into fashion, guys. Do I dress in a way that makes you wonder if I'm even into fashion? I guess most people think that, to be fair, because most people see me sitting in my living room. I literally had a comment, was it yesterday or the day before, where someone was like, I can't take you seriously because you're always wearing cheap sportswear in these live streams and you don't look like a fashion person. So I can't take you seriously when you talk about fashion. And in my head, I was thinking, first of all, my content is not about style. My content is about fashion business, fashion news, and analyzing runway shows, for starters. If I was making stylish videos, maybe. Second of all, I make videos at home. I'm literally, right now, I'm sat on my bed. I'm literally wearing shorts. Exactly what Coach said, do you even have pants on? I'm literally wearing shorts. I'm relaxing in my house. If you want to see maybe how I dress, if I do put an outfit together, Instagram is free. You can see kind of some of the stuff that I wear on Instagram. I do kind of dress up sometimes, but most times I don't even post my outfits on Instagram because it's kind of weird. I like wearing clothes that I like, and I feel like when you post your outfits on Instagram, it's kind of like a performance. It makes me question, am I dressing this way for Instagram, or am I dressing this way because that's how I want to dress? So that's another thing. Here you can have a gander on my Instagram. These are my outfits, guys. This is some of my wacky stuff. Walter van Bernendonk and de Meester, which I wear all the time. Even right now, I'm wearing Ande Meester. So I mean, this stuff it's there. It's online. If you want to see how I look when I'm not, sat in my bedroom or whatever, this is me. This is my Instagram, guys. Just in case you didn't know, for people that are like, you don't even dress like a fashion person, you just wear cheap sportswear in all your videos. So I do find that mentality really weird, but I guess this take can kind of apply to me because at the moment I'm critiquing Demna's work in Balenciaga, I guess people can deem that I dress in a way that makes people wonder if I'm into fashion. So touche, to be fair. Touche. That's like saying I can't listen to LeBron talk about basketball because he's not holding a basketball. Also, I think the most ridiculous thing about that mentality, right, is the people that say like they don't take me seriously because I don't dress like a fashion person. Well, first of all, I talk about fashion business, and guess what I do? I work in the business of fashion behind the scenes. One of the reasons why I actually push streams backwards is because I actually work in the industry, meaning if I have a lot of work to do, I can no longer do the stream because obviously my day job is my priority. So I actually I'm very involved with a lot of the things that I talk about. Like all these business deals, even right now, I'm working for a company in the middle of like certain business deals, and I'm getting some key information about how it works, the companies that we're working with, and these are with big companies, by the way. So I'm literally involved real time in like these business deals. There's also like collaborations with big companies. I'm seeing it firsthand. I'm quite involved. So it's weird. Who would you rather? I'm clueless about fashion, but I dress in a way that makes me look fashiony, but I've never worked in the industry and I have no knowledge about anything. What would you guys prefer? Like, I literally never worked in the industry a day in my life. I'm just talking out of my ass, no experience, no knowledge, no like actual, resume in fashion. I just came here and started yapping with no experience. But I just kind of, dressed in a funky way. So, I can take you seriously because you're wearing kind of cool stuff. Even if you're clueless, I just find it weird. It's really strange. It's really, really odd. But I get those comments all the time. I find it funny. But I specifically got one yesterday, which is why it came to mind. Reddit said, give me ignorance or give me death. Are you allowed to trade their stocks? No, I'm not. That would be illegal. So no, I am certainly not. It depends if you're talking about styling or not. Yeah, which is why I did say earlier that if my content had anything to do with styling, it would be fair enough. But I don't talk about style at all. That is not what my content is about at all. But anyway, let's move on. Martine Rose is a way better designer anyway, but can't name 5 Martine Rose pieces they like, let alone own any. I mean, I've never said Martine Rose is a way better designer than Demna. What I have said though is that Martine Rose did definitely influence the aesthetic that Demna was using earlier in Balenciaga, like the whole boxy oversized silhouette. Martine Rose has used that since the early 2000s. Like, if you know about Martine Rose, you would have seen her use that silhouette constantly. And she was a consultant for menswear on the early Demna Balenciaga shows. So it's not like I'm talking out my ass, that's just facts. So I've definitely said that. Also, I do own a lot of Martine Rose pieces, and I have reviewed a lot of Martine Rose runway shows. So clearly, I can speak to Martine Rose pieces. But it's probably true that a lot of people that say that probably can't. So fair enough, touche to that point, to be fair. But let's see what the next take is. He does the same thing every time. Loves Rick, Yoji, and Eddie. That's definitely shots fired at me. Definitely direct shots at, because I wear a lot of Rick, Yoji, and I don't own any Eddie Simon clothing, but I do love his work. And maybe one day, because I just find Eddie Simon's clothes so expensive, like they're not affordable. Maybe one day, but I do like what he does. Like I would wear his stuff. So that feels like direct shots fired. So thing is, I don't think Rick does the same thing every time though. Eddie Simon doesn't do the same thing every time. In fact, the way I can prove to you that he doesn't do the same thing every time is people literally said when he went to Celine that, he's just going to make it YSL. And I know that a lot of people don't have a discerning eye. So they saw the first, Celine shows and they were like, it just looks like what he did at YSL and Dior, which is not true because the silhouettes that he was using was inspired by the heritage of Celine itself. By way of Celine Vapiano. That's why he was using a wider silhouette with a denim or wasn't as skinny. He was taking inspiration from like Celine collections in like the 70s and the 80s and stuff like that. And he literally put his research on Instagram. So obviously you can't find it now, but it's literally on Instagram back then. A lot of people didn't look at the research. So it's completely different to what he's done in the past. And then there was a time he went in such a different direction. Do you guys remember when he had that TikTok collection, the Dancing Kid collection? That was a complete 180 to what we've seen from Ali Saman. So to say that Ali Saman does the same thing every time, I don't buy it. Same thing with Rick. Rick doesn't do the same thing every time. Rick has a design signature, but he changes like completely like certain footwear silhouettes, jacket silhouettes. It's just that he has such a distinctive shape. It looks like it's the same every season, but it really isn't. Yoji is more so who this could be valid for. I think Yoji is definitely getting to the point. I actually think Yoji as a brand is regressing, and that hurts me. It hurts my soul to say that, because Yoji is one of my favorite designers of all time. The first designer I ever got into was Yoji. I've talked about this all the time. It's why I used to wear Y3 when I first got into fashion, because I couldn't afford like mainline. So yeah, Yoji will always have a special place in my heart. That being said, I do feel like the brand is regressing, and Yoji, I think, is the only brand that is valid to say that it's a brand that where they're starting to do the same thing. So I don't know. I don't think that's valid. The whole, he does the same thing every time, but loves Rick, Yoji, and Eddie. I don't think that's necessarily valid, because I don't think any of those people, minus maybe Yoji, has been doing similar things. Except my heart just dropped clean out of my ass hearing you say that. Hey, it is what it is. First of all, a lot of recent Yoji shows, have you seen? I don't know if obviously it's probably not Yoji. Let me whip up Vogue Runaway and show you guys something, actually, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Because there was literally a point in time where it was like, okay, Yoji, we're not even trying. Where Yoji was literally printing his face on runaway pieces. Like, bro. Bro was printing his own face on runaway pieces. I was like, okay, we're just not trying anymore? Like, what's going on here? Like all this kind of stuff where it's just like, I'll show you like stuff like this, for example. So love the silhouette. Huge fan of the silhouette, obviously, which is why I wear loads of Yoji. I think the silhouette is perfect for someone of my body type. That being said, this whole like every single look is like a print of Yoji's face, bang slap on the garments, all this kind of stuff is just so like, bruh, we're just not trying anymore. Like, what are we doing here? So this is what I mean when I say that, a lot of Yoji is regressing. There are literally runway shows where damn near half of the pieces is just Yoji's face printed on the pieces. Like, no joke. So that's what I mean when I refer to that. And like I said, Yoji is one of my favorite brands. So, but once again, it's not Yoji is literally old. Like, how old is Yoji? He can't keep going forever anyway. I'm sure he's slowed down, and there's people that are making these decisions and people on the design team like messing up all the stuff. But let me see, Yoji Yamamoto age. Yeah, Yoji is 81, guys. So I'm not holding Yoji at the age of 81 to any sort of standard. But if we're just talking about the brand in general, I'm just saying in terms of this hot take, what brand is it, most valid for? I would say Yoji out of, Eddie Saman, like the brands that he's at, or Rick Owens. To be fair. Yeah, exactly. A lot of the silhouettes look the same, but Yoji gave us some of the best shit in fashion, so I don't care. Exactly how I feel. Exactly how I feel, to be honest. Let's see what the next hot take is, guys. Let's see. Good riddance. I hope the house is restored to its former glory. Knowledge about its history starts and ends with the Disney Plus with the Disney Plus series. That is hilarious, to be fair. What was their Disney series called again? What was it called? I'm forgetting. I haven't watched it because my friends told me not to watch it. Oh, it was actually called Cristobal Balenciaga. This series here, right? Cristobal Balenciaga, 1 season. So it's actually last year. Yeah, so this series, and there's I think it's called The New Look, which is a series on Dior, is also another series that my friends told me not to watch, because obviously I already know the history, so there's nothing that I'm going to really learn from a dramatized series on, the history of Balenciaga or the history of Dior, whatever. And they told me that actually some of it is not even accurate, or stuff is like over emphasized for dramatic effect to make it entertaining, which is hilarious. So that's why I just didn't even bother watching it. But that could be true. It's a new series. I don't know if there are many people who their only understanding of the history of Balenciaga is literally watching a series, but touche. That is funny though. That is funny. Hope it returns to its former glory. their knowledge of Balenciaga starts and ends with the TV series Balenciaga. Wait, let's see, Luke. They got Dior and Balenciaga sharing a chocolate bar. They never even met. Oh my gosh. See, that's why I just refuse to watch it. Waste of time. It's pointless. No point. That's too funny. They had Cristobal Balenciaga and Christian Dior sharing a chocolate bar. What the hell? That is way too funny. Yeah, let's see what the last hot take is in this Demna hater bingo. Name 0 solid things they like about previous creative directors. To be fair, that tends to be the case. I think the reason why that tends to be the case for most people that speak about fashion online is that most formats of fashion content don't leave for you to have to explain yourself. So for example, if you stream like me, you have to explain yourself so people can tell very quickly if you know what you're talking about or not. Because I mean, people are literally watching you talk about fashion for hours and hours over and over and over again. If you just tweet about things, you can just be like, here's, it's making me roll in my grave, and then the conversation ends there, and you never really have to talk about any of the work at Balenciaga. You don't have to talk about, what Alexander Wang did, or, Nicolas Gasquiel, talk about any of the eras, analyze any runway shows in any depth. Like people that tweet, literally on Twitter, there are people who their whole page is, like, let's say Balenciaga, fall winter 26 collection comes out. They'll take the images off Vogue Runway, and then they'll like post 4 of the images, and the caption would literally be Balenciaga fall winter 2016 by so and so creative director, and that's the post. And it gets like loads of, like, a lot of them don't have to explain anything or show any like understanding or knowledge of anything when it comes to fashion history or contemporary fashion even, or like analyze anything in any meaningful way, which means that is very valid. That, can name 0 solid things they like about previous creative directors. Because I'm very sure a lot of people, if you were to tell them to like stream about, okay, analyze, that same Balenciaga show and hop on a stream and talk about it for an hour and a half, most people will not be able to do that. So it is like a valid hot take, to be fair. It's very, very valid. Why is fashion history such a niche? Like, why is it gate kept? I don't know, to be fair. I don't think it should be a niche. I just think it's more to do with interest. I just don't think most people are interested in learning about it, which is fair enough. Like, people are interested in what they're interested in. I do find it weird when people try to gatekeep it. So when people try to, like, I'm not going to tell you about that history because I had to read 10 books, so you have to read the same book. I find that kind of weird. Like, if people ask me a question about some historical thing, I just tell them. I'm not like gatekeeping it or telling them, go read this book, instead of me telling them. But I don't think it's gatekept. I think it's more to do with just not that many people are interested in it, which is kind of ironic because so many people have like really strong opinions about fashion, but it's not really backed on any, because fashion is subjective, right? But that being said, if your subjectivity is not backed by any understanding or knowledge about fashion, it tends to just be hot takes, basically, which is what we get with most commentary on fashion, unfortunately. So yeah, Anglophist said, analyze. You already lost most of them. Yeah, there are tons of books, and a lot of them are available. Like, not even just like, what's this website? I'll put you guys on game. There's a website called, I think it's Archive PDF. So this website here. So this is why I don't necessarily think it's gatekept. So Archive PDF, oh, they moved. So, but anyway, on this page, they have like scans of different books and magazines and articles from the past. So I've read Raf Simons Redux through Archive PDF. I've read one of them, the books that they put up. There's a book on Croissant that I've read. So you can find these things all over. Like, you can find them. Someone said, isn't that pirating? It is, but it's not me doing it. So I am not liable. I'm just telling you guys where you can find this stuff. So yeah, I've read a lot of the stuff on, like, I've read loads of PDFs. People have helped me scan books. I feel like the fashion community is really wholesome if you find the right people, because I have friends who have literally, scanned books because I don't have the book, and they're like, you know what, I'll scan it and send it to you, right? And I feel like the community is wholesome. Like, I had a book on Bibba and I gave it to Understitch, and Understitch referenced that book in their video on Bibba, which was an amazing video, by the way. Everyone check out Understitch. Amazing content. So I don't know, if you find the right people and you're in a like tight-knit community and stuff, I think that, yeah, I don't think it's gatekept, to be honest. I don't think so. I just think it's more to do with like interest and stuff like that, more so than anything else. So yeah, that's basically what it is. Understitch is amazing. How I know most of my fashion history. Yeah, Understitch is sensational. Great content. Great content. Great content. The fashion community is wholesome outside of comment sections. I wouldn't say that. There are definitely fashion people in real life, in person, that are horrible people to be around, like the worst of society. But that's not everyone. And I genuinely don't think that's most people. Like, from my experience working in fashion, I would say that 85% of people are wholesome. And then there's a 15% of people that are just the worst examples of human beings on this planet. Like, all kinds of bad, like bitchy for no reason, hate on people for no reason, have beefs with people for no reason. That some of them are even abusers. Some of them we even know, like Alexander Wang and so on and so forth, photographers and different people like that. So yeah, but I'd say a good 85% is wholesome, to be fair. Are we wholesome people? Yeah, I think the comment section is quite wholesome. I think sometimes the comment section can be a bit harsh, especially on designers, to be fair. That's probably spearheaded by Luke, if I'm going to be very honest. But you guys are wholesome. You guys are wholesome. I also do like that in the comment section, you guys are not too, because I make a lot of jokes and you guys take the jokes, you don't take it too seriously. Because I think there are certain corners of the fashion internet that you're just not even allowed to joke about fashion. They act like fashion is literally, solving the cure for cancer and stuff. There's people that like are just so weird about it, and it's just like, how dare you make a joke about my dad? Like, some of these people call like Rick Owens their dad, or like, Demna their dad and stuff. It's really, really odd. Luke said, that's just me. At least let me admit it first. Yeah, Luke is the spearheads the toxic behavior. Luke equals the Thanos of fashion roadman chat. Luke adds balance, because I don't, like, as a journalist or just as a person in general, I don't believe in, so many people do this, by the way, and I think it's really bad. I don't believe in like censorship in the sense of censoring people that have different opinions to you, or censoring people that have different opinions to like most. So long as it's not like veering into the realm of literal like homophobia or like sexism or racism, I'm okay with it if someone has like opposing opinions, because you don't ever want to be in a like bubble. You want to see different opinions that people have. I think as a person, you won't be well developed if you only surround yourself with opinions that are, similar to opinions that you have, or opinions that you agree with. I don't think that's really good for like mental development, personally. Yeah, I find it's kind of like a hot take, but I find that people that are the least intelligent or lack the most self-awareness or just awareness about the world in general tend to be people that like isolate themselves into a group of just opinions that agree with themselves. So they don't even like truly understand how like other people think, or why certain things happen or certain people get voted in, because they just could not even fathom the way that someone else thinks. But that's because you only surround yourself with opinions that are specifically what you agree with. I'm really against that, like, fundamentally. So yeah, that's why I like balance. I like balance. I think it's a good thing, to be fair. Yeah, censoring and blocking is fake reality. Yeah, facts. Exactly what I was alluding to. Yeah, echo chambers are hella name. Exactly that. So yeah, someone said, if I'm in a room and we're all agreeing on more than 5 things, I gotta leave the room. I don't know about 5 things. I think that's a bit small, but I know what you're getting at. I understand the sentiment. So yeah, fair enough. This YouTube channel runs on your support. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You'll gain access to exclusive content that includes everything from my Patreon podcast, where I give a behind-the-scenes insight into the fashion industry, as well as a fashion book club where I review my favorite fashion books. You can also check out my fashion ebook, which highlights the best fashion journalists to follow, definitions of common fashion terminology, and how to determine what a good source of fashion information is. The links to everything are in the description below.